Just to introduce myself as well, my name is Karan. I'm part of the user support team here at Toggle. So my job is to make sure you have a great time here on the website. So, if you have any feedback, you have any questions about Toggle, I'm your man. So don't hesitate to reach out really if you need anything at all. Another cool part of my job is I get to lead this orientation session, and I'm excited to walk you guys through the platform. We're going to basically go through the different features, give you a little taste of what's coming as well in the pipeline. And then as well, if you have any questions throughout the session, don't hesitate to ask away. I'll pause towards the end of the session, but if you have any questions, put them down in the Q&A and I'll answer it as soon as it comes in. So first and foremost, let's talk about Toggle. What is Toggle? Toggle is basically a smart investment dashboard. It's based on this AI system that is constantly observing different micro and macro indicators across 40,000 global assets. Kind of like a doctor of sorts, this AI system is constantly on the lookout for assets and checking, what are these different indicators looking like? As you might know, each asset has hundreds of financial indicators under it, micro, macro, fundamental, technical, you name it, right? So if you have an AI system that's there to kind of be your co-pilot and let you know about the shifts in indicators which have historically led to a change in the price of assets, that's basically what Toggle is doing. So imagine that across millions of data points every single day, and that's Toggle for you. It's much easier to explain, so let's actually hop into the platform. The best place to access the research is on the main website, www.toggle.ai. And on this website, you can learn what we're currently up to. We're teaching ChatGPT how to invest. So very soon, you're going to have your very own Toggle large language model where you would basically be able to, chat with this kind of like you do with ChatGPT, but with an investing focus. Since it has live prices, it's got financial analysis, it's also trained by financial gurus. So it's that ChatGPT tool, but with an investing focus. So that's coming very soon. On this page as well, you can learn about what Toggle is. You can learn more about that chat tool, which I'll give you a little teaser into at the end of the session as well. And then you can learn about the subscriptions we have here at Toggle. The main subscription we have is Toggle Copilot, costs $100 a month. It gives you access to research across global equities, unlimited functionality for the rest of the platform. And then for our professional users, we've got another tier called Pro. It costs $1,200 a year. It gives you access not just to global equities, but things like currencies, commodities, futures. You also get access to your personal backtesting tool called Scenario, which we'll go through as well in the session. And you get some special emails as well regarding leading indicators, which we generate every single day. There's also the basic tier, which is free, but it has limited functionality, but it is free. So you get access to a few insights every month. If you're an IB user, you can get these subscriptions with perks. So IB users can actually get Copilot, which is this tier, completely for free. And then if you subscribe to Pro, you will get not only, the awesome tools you get with Toggle Pro, but you also get a monthly trading commission reimbursement up to $99 every month. So you can learn more about that under this tab here, Copilot for free. Pro users get a commission reimbursement. And then if you sign up to IBKR through our links, you get more than just that commission reimbursement and free Copilot. You can even get discounted commission fees. Under the Learn tab, you can learn about Toggle. We've got different articles to explain the platform for you, the leading indicators we generate, as well as the concepts you'll see throughout the platform. The Daily Market Brief is a newsletter written by our co-founders every day. You will see the archive of the previous newsletters here, but if you want to receive tomorrow's, just enter email and get me on the list. And then there's the About Us page to learn more about the team, ways to get in touch, and so on. So two tools we're going to go through today. The first one is the What If tool. That's a separate tool we built for free, actually, to help users understand how stocks could react based on company earnings. And I think it's a good way to kind of intro the functionality of the main platform. So you can click What If. You can also access it directly from toggle.ai/earnings. And essentially, when you have a company's earnings coming up, what you can do is you can say, okay, Goldman, for example, reports tomorrow. What Toggle will show you is it'll show you how Goldman Sachs stock typically reacts after beating earnings expectations on the aggregate. Or if you want to dig into episode beats to see previous episodes and the specific returns. On the other hand, if you think the company could miss earnings expectations, here's how the stock typically performs thereafter, as well as the individual episodes that generated the beat. So this gives you a little bit of an idea of what we're doing here at Toggle, taking all this data, for example, these 8 episodes where Goldman missed earnings expectations, and then we show you how the stock typically reacted thereafter. We do the same thing as well for companies which have already reported earnings. So for example, Bank of America reported today, they beat earnings expectations by 4 cents. We then filter the data set in order to give you episodes only where Bank of America has beaten earnings expectations by 4 cents or more to give you a more accurate idea of what has historically happened in such a scenario. So this is for earnings data. But now imagine doing this for fundamental, technical, macro, analyst revisions, all these different indicators you hear about every single day across 40,000 global assets. That's the platform for you. So the first page you're going to land on when you come into Toggle is the My Toggle page. As the name says, it's your page. It's where all the information regarding assets you care about will be housed. You can create a list of assets you want to keep track of through connecting your portfolio or setting up a watch list. You can do this by going to the top right corner of your screen, hitting portfolio to connect to an IB portfolio using the first option, or use Plaid to connect to any of the other major US brokerages, TD Ameritrade, Robinhood, Charles Schwab. If we don't offer your portfolio, or if you'd like to create a separate list, we also have the watch list. It's very similar in terms of functionality, just requires you to add in the companies you care about. So for example, if you want to add Netflix, I think Netflix is already in my list, or let's just go with a suggestion. We'll add Meta. And then once you do that, you can go to the My Toggle page. And when a new insight for any of those names across your portfolio or watch list are released, it'll pop up to the top of your screen like this, so that you know that there's a new insight today for Coca-Cola and the USD INR cross. What is the insight? You can go to the right side of the screen and there's a little preview. The arrow shows you the direction of the insight, and the title right after gives you an idea of what the insight is driven by. So in both these cases, they're technically driven insights, which have historically seen bullish movements in the price thereafter. The number on the right side highlights, on top of what's highlighted here, how many other alerts could there be about the stock. So not just the most recent one, but maybe ones that were generated 1 or 2 days ago. So that's a quick way to stay up to date with new insights for names on your portfolio or watch list. If you download our iOS app, Toggle AI, you can also get push notifications directly to your phone. That's another cool way to keep up to date with earnings you care about, with insights you care about. On the left side of the page here, you'll also see the Toggle Leading Indicator. The Toggle Leading Indicator is an indicator we created by aggregating insights across 5,000 stocks. And this gave us a good bottom-up approach of what we could see happening with the overall market based on historical data. Once we generated this indicator, we also backtested it. We wanted to make sure at what levels has it proven to be most successful. And we found that at positive 0.15 and at negative 0.15, this indicator showed the highest likelihood of seeing the respective movements in the S&P 500. Again, all this information is generated based on historical data. So if you do have, a recent piece of news or I don't know, earnings turning out better than expected, for example, that can cause a bullish price action, or in the other way, if it's negative for the market, and that will always come precedent over the historical information. But if you cut out the noise, here's what you could expect with the market. This comes with Copilot, and then for our pro users, you get access to the rest. Rangefinder, peak, trough indicator, and then you also get 3 more indicators actually in the morning email, which gets sent to you every morning. These are based on other indicators in the S&P 500. So looking at, for example, correlation between stocks, candle breadth movements, surprise moves in the S&P 500. We're looking at all different types of indicators and what they could imply for overall price action. So if you use the indicators coupled with the insights, we hope to give you a better idea of what you could see happening with the stock based on historical data. And that's at My Toggle page for you. Also, really quickly, you can always add names to your list by hitting the plus at the top right, bottom right. And if you search up an asset and you see that we don't cover it, let us know. We'd love to add the asset for you. We're able to add all types of assets, so let us know, and we'd be more than happy to add it to the platform for you. Now let's look at the Explore page. Whenever Toggle is looking at millions of indicators every day, for example, today it's looked at almost 2.9 investing variables across these 40,000 global assets. It's 2.2 of them have proven to be interesting, meaning they've seen maybe they've dropped, they've seen a new high, it's consistently been at a low. And when the system identifies these interesting data milestones, then backtest these interesting data milestones. It looks at, okay, every time in the past I've seen this happen, what typically happens to the stock thereafter? If the price action of the asset has proven to be consistent, it then runs a series of backtests on it. How many times have I seen this happen? How does the asset typically perform? When have I seen this happen? And if it meets a minimum threshold, it's then generated here on the page as an insight. So the Explore page is where every insight that's generated by the system is published. So just today, the system has generated almost 1,600 new insights across the thousands of assets it's looking at. Now, in order to narrow down this search to try and find insights that meet your style, your geography, your preference, we have these filters on the left side to narrow it down. The top screens are higher level screens. So for example, insights that are in your watch list, insights that are in your portfolio, what's most currently popular, or if you ever want to bookmark an insight to check it out later, you've got a bookmark filter, and then you've also got some top screens here. The stars show you the quality of an insight. The minimum starred insight you'll see on the platform is 5, the max is 8. The higher the star of the insight is, the more robust that relationship is proven to be. We'll also go through the conditions that determine the star rating. The direction is, how has the asset typically moved? The return profile is, how has it typically performed on median? The asset class instrument is what the specific asset you want to look at is. The geography is where the asset is trading. The horizon is the insight horizon. We'll also understand this a little more as we go through an insight. The driver of the insight, the market cap of the asset, and then the sector of the asset. So for example, if you're someone who's super bullish on tech stocks, you can say, Toggle, show me ideas for tech, let's say large cap stocks in the US that could see upside. And what Toggle will say is, okay, based on the criteria you've selected, I found 64 insights that meet that criteria over the last 2 weeks. And then if you find yourself using the same filters over and over again, you can save them as a screen. So we'll call this bullish US tech. It's funny that I have a bearish US tech here because things have just completely changed in the market over the last few weeks. But here's your bullish US tech screen. And, if things change and let's say Chairman Powell says he wants to hike interest rates like crazy, then, here that screen is as well, ready for any potential ideas you might want to hop into. So highly recommend setting up those screens. That way you can quickly access any insights that might be of interest to you. You can also edit these screens, put whatever name you'd like, add your emoticons, make it fun. It's really your screen, so have fun with it. So we've talked about the My Toggle and the portfolio and watch list to kind of keep up to date with ideas regarding holdings you care about. The Explore page helps you find new trade ideas. And then once you connect that portfolio as well, feel free to look at the portfolio page as well, where you can keep track of how your assets are performing. If you wanted to do a little due diligence to an asset, you can always search up the company name or ticker. Check out Apple, for example. For people who've used Toggle before, you might see that this screen is new. We actually just released this refresh this morning. So we kind of just cleaned it up, made it look a little cleaner, and I think it looks quite nice. Over here, we've got the price chart of Apple. You've also got the price here, what it's currently trading at, since the market's closed, what's happening there. You also add it to your watch list from this page. And then on the right side menu, you'll see all the available information Toggle has currently about the asset. Everything that you see here is new. It's updated every single day. And it tells you, it gives you a health check for these assets across the indicators Toggle's looking at. So Toggle's looking at hundreds of indicators every day, but here are the ones which have proven to be interesting. Things like an earnings announcement is coming up, capitalization at a high 4 PE, high trailing PE, price at a resistance level, and what analysts are saying about the stock. Another cool thing you'll see over here is a news insight. So on top of the data-driven insights that Toggle is generating every single day, it's also scanning news publications from articles like Yahoo Finance, Benzinga, and Reuters to try and identify what impact could these articles have on investor sentiment and therefore price. So this one I picked up, it says that this could potentially have bearish action on the price of Apple, as you can see by the red news label. If it were green, that means the system believes it could have bullish price action. Currently, there are no live insights for Apple, but if you switch on past insights, you'll see these dots start to appear. And these are all the previous insights Toggle has generated for Apple. Green dots are bullish insights, red dots are bearish insights, and yellow dots are those news insights, which are generated down here. You can click on any of these insights to get a little preview about what the insight's about. Recently, the insights have been pretty bullish, and prior to that, they were also bearish. What was interesting at this time was Apple's also, hitting those resistance levels, and now, it's trading at an all-time high. So what Toggle saw was once it did pass those resistance levels, then it saw, strong price action, and then identified some bullish insights as well thereafter. Currently, there is another bullish insight available, which is generated based on a risk on watch. It's projecting about another 6% upside from here. It's a 6-star insight. It's based on 13 episodes in the past. And then based on those 13 episodes in the past, 67% of the time we saw that median upside of 6%. So that's a little preview of the insight for you. You can also pull up insights by clicking the insight button here. This is the news. These are just general news. Toggle will highlight the most significant ones in the news insights. These are key values, and then these are related assets. And just to give you an idea of the number of indicators Toggle is looking at every single day, if you go to the left side of your screen, you can hit chart, hit the price button, and then you get a drop down of all the indicators that Toggle is looking at every single day for each of the 40,000 global assets it covers. Fundamental indicators, technical indicators, analyst indicators, macro indicators on the country side as well. So a lot of different indicators it's looking at, but the asset overview will highlight the main ones for you. But for people interested, you have a lot more indicators over here as well. You can switch on the Toggle Insights as well, see how the stock has reacted to just in indicators, for example. Oh, and now we even have this really cool tool in the chart. We call this the chart commander because you can essentially command the chart to pull up a specific time range, even if you don't know the dates. So for example, show me the price of Apple during the Obama presidency. Not too sure what dates he got into office and what dates he left office, so I'll just say Obama presidency. But what Toggle does is it can then say, okay, I know the dates he got into the office and the dates he left. Here's how Apple stock performed during that time. So this chart commander tool works on all the assets we cover in the chart tool. So play around with that. We just released it literally today. So play around with that and let us know what you think. Cool. Taking a quick pause. We've got about 11 minutes left. A few things to still squeeze in, but let me know if you guys have any questions. More than happy to answer anything. While you guys do that, I'm just going to pull up a quick insights. All right, no questions. And if you're in the middle of typing a question, I'll answer it as soon as it comes in. So let's go through an insight. This is essentially what Toggle is generating every single day. This is fully generated by the system. There are no analysts whatsoever in creating this. And essentially, it's taking all the data it's looking at and putting it into this insight. The structure of the insight is always the same. It's only the content that changes. So if you understand the structure, it's very easy to go through an insight. An insight is split into 4 sections. You've got the overview, the why it might move section, the quality checklist, which goes to the stars, and the past performance, which shows you how the asset typically performed when this condition was previously observed. The overview gives you everything you need to know about what the system was looking at to generate the insight and what the insight is about. So in this case, it's looking at Electronic Arts stock. It noticed that it's reached a recent high based on the past 10 times in the past where Toggle has observed Electronic Arts stock reach $138.25. It usually results in a median downside of 6% over the following 6 months. On a star basis, this insight also received 7 out of 8 stars, so it's more robust than that minimum star level, which was 5 stars. This projection chart here as well shows you how the asset could potentially perform. You've got a confidence interval. You've also got a median path here. And then you've also got this red line. This red line is a readjustment level because essentially, if you were to see the price of the asset getting too close to that level, potentially even going higher, something else could be happening here. And in this case, if Electronic Arts, passes 138, starts hitting 140, 142, the stock could be, creating a new resistance level, or there might be some growth behind the stock, which you need to do a little more research about. So that readjustment level helps you to kind of rethink that strategy. The more detailed section shows you how the insight was generated, what Toggle was looking at, and when Toggle was looking at it. You've got the chart here to show you that. It's looking at price above 138. The orange vertical lines is when it looked at it. You've also got that here written down, and then the exact episode dates as well. What's positive to see is that it's pretty recent, from 2018 up to 2022, and it's happened pretty frequently as well. Based on all these episodes in the past which Toggle looked at, it found over a 6-month horizon that the stock generated the most attractive return and the highest hit ratio. Well, the combination of the highest median return and the hit ratio, because on a 3-month horizon, the hit ratio was even higher, but the return was lower. But Toggle selected 6 months as the trading horizon. So, maybe if you want to follow this insight, you could say, okay, maybe in a 3-month horizon, it might be more attractive because it has a higher hit ratio, meaning in the previous episodes this happened, 80% of the time we saw 5% downside, but 75% of the time we saw 6% downside. Am I willing to, hold that position for 3 extra months for shy of a percent? Maybe not. So maybe you want to select 3 months in this case rather than 6 months. These are the 8 conditions we backtest all our insights against. At least 5 of them need to be met in order for them to be shown on the platform as a 5-star insight. In this case, 7 of these were met, hence why the system gave it a 7 out of 8 stars. The 1 star that was not met was the third one. The system had occurred this a little too frequently in order for it to be sure that this was a concrete relationship rather than just a coincidence. However, it had seen the condition occur across different business cycles, both expansionary and recessionary periods. We had at least 10 data points which we used to make this prediction. We saw it happen pretty regularly in the last few years. It had a decent enough historical hit rate, 75% of the threshold. We got 75.47, so we just made it. It had a high accuracy out of sample. This is an out of sample back test that the system does. And the historical returns were attractive and did not see much volatility, which you can observe over here. This shows you how the stock typically has reacted on a cumulative basis when we observe this happen. This is for a $1 short position. What would that value be on a cumulative basis? And here you see what the individual returns have looked like historically. What's positive to see is that majority are more on the downside, but there, yes, have been episodes where we did see further upside, maybe as high as 2%. So if you start seeing returns maybe higher than 2%, 2, 3, 4%, something else that might be happening here, which requires you to do a little more research. And that's how you go through an insight, folks. Okay, good. Next question coming from Julio. Is it normal to see the stock charts with 1-day delay, or is it only me? An additional question, how are the steps to reach? Okay, so first question about the stock charts. They are updated daily. So currently it says 17th July. By the end of today, meaning taking into account after hours, by like 7 o'clock, you'll usually see that 18th July date as well. So that's what that delay you might be talking about. Regarding the chart commander, yes, this is also available for you. Search up any asset, go to chart, and you'll see the text right under, which will allow you to search up the chart in a specific time horizon. Okay, Maria, thank you, Maria. My question is if you need to compare Toggle with typical wealth manager companies use. Okay, interesting. So it's really based on the data. So Maria's question is if you need to compare Toggle with the typical tool wealth management company uses. It's based on the data using and the purpose of what you're trying to get out of the data. So I think what we're really trying to show you is rather than buy sell signals is research. How does a stock typically react when there are shifts in data? Even though this is an artificially intelligent tool, we do require that touch of human to kind of make that final decision. So that's really where the difference is. We're not telling you to go in any way, we're just showing you what could happen. Great questions. Sorry, I'm trying to rush through because there's still 2 cool things that I want to show you. So everything I've shown you so far is related with Copilot. I want to show you that scenario backtesting tool now. What this tool does is it allows you to firstly break down insights. So rather than just looking at Toggle telling you you can see 6% downside over the next 6 months, you can play around with the horizon. You can see what returns could look like on a daily basis. You can observe what individual episodes, what returns they led to, as well as star ratings. You can use the same tool on any of the good to knows which you generate. The good to knows were these cards over here. So if you were, let's say, for example, earnings announcement in 10 days, that doesn't really tell me much, right? So if I go to scenario, I hit earnings announcement in 10 days, what Toggle will do is it look at all the historical times in the past when Electronic Arts had an earnings announcement in 10 days, and I'll show you how EA stock typically reacts. And with this backtesting tool as well, you can create your own conditions. In some sense, create your own insights. For example, what happens to EA when the price of the S&P 500 drops 4%? You can run that condition. We've got a lot of templates here for you to use to kind of help you get started, but then you can even go in and build your own condition. What happens to Electronic Arts if click Electronic Arts? You can play around with any of the indicators we have. So if it's RSI rises above an overthrow level, there's a sharp drop in analyst ratings, or if it, play around with this. You can do literally anything if the price of oil drops or the price of gold rises. Same thing with the economic side. So search up US or any of the other countries, and you've got a list of economic indicators as well. So it's your personal backtesting tool to generate your own insights. If that's something you're interested in playing around with, let me know. Always happy to set you up with free trial. Awesome. I was able to rush through that. And now in the last few minutes, I want to show you this chat tool. So this is what we've been really working on here at Toggle, and we're excited to have it here. It still requires some final touches, but very soon it will be live. What you can essentially do with this is, rather than doing all the clicks that we just went through over the last 30 minutes, is you can just ask what you want from the system and allow it to retrieve that data for you. So for example, what companies in my watch list are, if I can spell, in my watch list are reporting earnings this week? And it'll look at your watch list, and then it'll look at the earnings data it currently has, and it says, okay, out of the assets in the user's watch list, which of them have earnings coming up? Okay, Netflix, Tesla have earnings coming up. Okay, what is happening with Netflix? You want to do a little research. Todd will show you, okay, here's the research I have available about what's going on with Netflix on the financial indicator side, but then it'll also look at, okay, what is happening with Netflix in the news. It'll even pull up any recent insights we have about the asset, and it'll tell you, okay, people are more bullish about the stock because it's cracking down on password sharing, potential conversion of users because of the ad tier, streaming giant, major player in the industry. So it's pulling out these data points and these news publications that can help you get a better idea of what's happening with the stock. Another thing that is going on with Netflix is this writer strike, right? So how could the Hollywood writers strike affect Netflix stock, for example? Let's see what it pulls up. Another cool thing which we're also hooking up very soon is that we have a bank of JP Morgan reports. So when you ask what's happening with Netflix, you'll not only get financial indicators and the news, but you'll also get commentary from JP Morgan research reports. And boom, Toggle says, here's what the impact of that writer strike could be on Netflix stock. And then last but not least, what could happen to Netflix stock if it beats earnings expectations? And now it's going to go through that what if tool, which you had to go through on a separate site, but bam, here you go. Here's what typically happens to Netflix. When it beats earnings expectations, you have the tool on the right side as a widget. So you can even say, okay, imagine it misses, dig into the episodes. So this is the Toggle chat for you. We're super, super, super excited to have gotten here. And, there's a lot more to come very, very soon. So that's all I have for you folks in the last few seconds. Here are the ways to reach out to us. You've got our main email, support@toggle.ai, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. Our YouTube page has got a lot of good videos up there if you ever want to walk through the different sections of Toggle, and then our main website, www.toggle.ai. Folks, thank you very much for your time. My name is Karan. Really, don't hesitate to reach out if you need anything. Happy toggling, happy trading.